Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver. This is really important. If you received PUA payments from the California EDD, please listen to this whole video in its entirety from start to finish. This is really important. If you don't pay attention and you don't comply with the documentation needed, then you will have to repay your benefits. So I want to make sure that everyone is clear, that they know what to expect, that they know what to provide to the EDD to make sure that you're compliant. California EDD has issued a statement that for those of you that collected PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, if on your application you claimed either self-employment income, plans to start self-employment, or plans to start regular employment, the EDD has stated that starting November 10th, that they will begin to send out notices via email, text message, and through UI online, as well as paper forms for those individuals who are required to provide proof of work history in order to be compliant with federal rules. So who does this apply to? It applies to a few different groups. Number one, if you collected PUA and your claim started in 2020 and you collected benefits after December 27th, 2020, when this rule was put into place, then this applies to you. The second group this applies to are individuals whose PUA claims started in 2021. Now, your notice is going to have an individualized deadline for your own unique claim listed on it. However, in general, claims that were filed before January 31st, 2021 will have 90 days to submit proof or request an extension. And claims that were filed after January 31st, 2021 will have 21 days to submit proof or request an extension. PUA as a program has ended. However, you are required to make sure that you respond to this notice and comply with providing the documentation in order to have your benefits that you already received still be eligible. The EDD states that failure to respond to the notice could render the claimant ineligible for the benefits that they already received and would then result in an overpayment notice, meaning that you would have to repay the benefits that you received. So what documentation can be submitted? The EDD states that documents that can be used to provide what documentation can be provided? The EDD states documents that can be used to prove self-employment include, but are not limited to, business licenses, tax returns, business receipts or invoices, signed affidavits verifying self-employment, contracts or agreements, bank statements from a business account to show self-employment. Now, for those of you that were qualified to receive PUA based on plans to start self-employment, but you didn't have any actual income, the EDD states that you can provide business licenses, state or federal employer identification numbers, written business plans, or lease agreements. Now, for those of you who had plans to start regular employment, and that's how you qualified for PUA, the EDD states that you can provide employment offer letters with the employer's name and contact information verifying the employment offer. Now, the EDD is going to be looking for proof documentation in accordance with your base year, the year that you provided information on that your claim is based on. But they state here that in general, if the PUA claim began in 2020, the documents need to be from the 2019 tax year. And if the PUA claim began in 2021, then the documents would need to be from the 2020 tax year. Your individual notice should provide the exact time period of documentation that you're required to submit. Okay, guys, so I want to just reiterate one more time how extremely important it is that you be on the lookout for this notice and that you comply with providing the documentation. If you do not provide the documentation that they request, you will need to repay all of the benefits that you received. So please make sure that you have your documentation ready, that you are on the lookout for that notice, and that you ensure that you send it to EDD properly.